Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates.
FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 10th day of July 2020. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. And that applies to cyclists, pedestrians, anyone operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands as well. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you're celebrating a wedding anniversary as well, we want to wish you a happy wedding anniversary also. Those of you who have lost okay, so we have Miss Ruby and Mr. Frank. They're celebrating a wedding anniversary today, so we want to wish them happy anniversary. And I believe there's another prominent person as well, and I'll reconfirm that before I announce that. Also, those of you who have lost loved ones over the past few days or even past few weeks, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. So I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, the phone lines are always open, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson who will take your calls on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Of course, if you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. So as of yesterday, I think we have gone 9 days. Today would be 10 days without any positive COVID-19 tests being detected. Yesterday, it was reported that there were 210 tests results that were received, and they were all negative. So that is good to know as well. The 10th of July today is a month from today. Trinidad will be having their elections, 10th of August, general elections in Trinidad as well. We have one caller, but before I go to the phone lines, I'd like to introduce my guest this morning, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio none other than Mr. Alva Suku, MLA, and also Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Suku, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and morning to the listening public, and great to be here. I was listening to the good news that we've been having good results with the testing, and I hope that continues, because I've been watching the news and seeing what is transpiring in the United States, and that is quite scary.
Yes.
So yeah, it is good that we take some time to acknowledge that all these efforts we've made are paying off, but don't get complacent, don't get overconfident. But it's good to be here. I know there's a lot going on that we can talk about today. So I'm prepared to have those conversations and encourage people to call in. I like to hear from people. I like to come on and talk to the public. This is one of the best ways to do that. So
it is.
I'm looking forward to the show.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And speaking of the all negative, no positive tests coming back, I see where the Minister for Health in Bermuda, Kim Wilson, on their last report yesterday, they reported 3 positives from their tests. And she again reminded the Bermudan public that there is still room for concern, because it is quite obvious and evident that the virus is still out there, how we have to be so careful, and we cannot afford to let our guards down here in the Cayman Islands as well. That is extremely important.
Yeah. It's still out there. We've managed to keep it under control, but it's still there.
Yes. So. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to Mr. Suku.
Good morning, my friend.
Morning.
How are you?
I am blessed, blessed and thankful. I trust you guys are all right.
Doing okay, yeah, for an old man.
Same here, thanks. He needs to leave that to me.
My youngest daughter always calls me old man, so it's a inside joke, but
it's relative,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, what I'm calling for was, you remember a couple of weeks ago I called a real Royal Bank.
Yes.
Well, I noticed, I went there on Tuesday, and I noticed they made some improvements. So I said, well, if I can rail them out, I can also compliment them too.
Precisely.
So they have made some changes to make things more amicable for people waiting. They put up some tents to offer some shade, and they've provided chairs for people to sit in while they're waiting. And they actually open, when I went Tuesday, they actually open before 9 o'clock to start serving people. So must be to expedite, So I'm trusting that they will continue to work in that direction to see where they can, speed up the whole business of dealing with the customers. And I appreciate the efforts that they have made to make it a little bit more comfortable and amicable for people waiting outside, especially when they have to wait so long.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, to acknowledge that, given that, like I said, if I can reel them out, then I can compliment them as well.
So true. Before you go, any views on the mosquitoes? How are they up your way? Because I'm not too far away from you, and they're giving us hell there. As a matter of fact, I believe if the police department. We have the 2 helicopters, but I don't think they need them now, because those mosquitoes are big enough to lift you up. So we don't need the helicopters to transport people around.
Years ago, a gentleman in Bordentown used to call him came on the Air Force. So
and they keep
look like we're back to them days. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, we have them. And the thing is, even sometime in the time, the middle of the daylight.
Yes.
I go in certain areas of my yard, especially where the trees and stuff, boy, and they come out in mass. So, yeah, boy.
Yeah, there's any bush that isn't cut low. They're hiding in there, and they're going to come out.
Or even the leaves on the ground as well. Yeah.
So, yeah, but and that's the problem. I have a lot of leaves, from trees. So, yes, we've been having our issues with them, boy. So, try to just stay inside when especially early morning and late evening.
Now, one of our, I spoke to someone yesterday, and they pointed out that they were in Camana Bay yesterday, and no mosquitoes whatsoever there. But in their area where they live, during the course of the day, lots of mosquitoes. Now, maybe the proprietors of Camana Bay are doing something extra to ensure that they're under control. But we're told that those pellets that are dropped, that their intention is that when it rains, they will dissolve in the water, right? And kill the larva.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of rain, but does it mean that we have to endure the mosquitoes until the larva is destroyed? But before then, what happens? I just feel that MRCU has to redouble their efforts to help us, because we have never seen mosquitoes like this in quite a while. And while we're seeing more and more land being reclaimed, right? So less swamp, you would expect that there would be less mosquitoes. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a scientist, but I believe we really need them to redouble their efforts.
Yeah.
And another thing, gentlemen, you be careful with settling wherever you see water settling, because I notice even in grape leaves, I have a grape tree in the yard, and with the rain, you'll see water settling in the leaves.
And then you'll see the larvae in the
so you have water. To, wherever I try to wherever I see any kind of water settling in whatever, no matter how little it is, try to get rid of it, because I'm pretty sure the mosquitoes will find it, and that's all they need.
Just an empty drink can will have enough water in it for quite a few of them to breed.
And the same way that let's say, for instance, they do with rodent control, where you go to individual properties or you go to areas and you do set things, then those same pellets, is it possible that they can be spread in the yards and stuff like that whether or not that would help, so that we don't have to rely solely on the aerial spraying?
I would hope so. I think what they do is they specifically treat certain areas. And later on I wanted to talk about this because the dikes in Rackley, we had a long discussion about that in the LA. Those dikes have not functioned in 15 years. So we have a 10,000 acre area of wetland that is just producing mosquitoes at will, because it's too large for them to control. Okay. So that's why North Sound Estates and Newlands and Savannah, all those areas there are inundated with mosquitoes now, I believe, because we're not able to properly manage the dikes.
Yeah. Caller, want to thank you very much again, and and again for also being quite level in terms of, while you criticize, at the end of the day, when you see changes, then you acknowledge that those changes have been made as well. So I want to thank you for being having such a balanced view and a balanced position as well.
Thank you, and you have a wonderful day and good weekend as well.
Take care,
Take
folks.
Care, have a good weekend.
Okay.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku, will continue.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
George Wellenward Bodden,
1924 to 1993.
George W. Bodden, son of Bluja and Toslin Bodden, was educated at the one-room schoolhouse in East End. In 1942, he joined the Military Defense Force of the Jamaica Home Guard, in which he became a non-commissioned officer. He married Aloda Rankin, with whom he had 2 children. He became a seaman in 1946, and from 1948 to 1967, he worked for national bulk carriers. When he retired from sea, his engineering experience earned him a supervisory position with the local construction company that erected Cayman's first steel building. During the construction of Owen Roberts Airfield, Mr. Bodden was a supervisor with the contractors. He served East End as mailman, shoemaker, scoutmaster, and organist, and built the first upstairs movie theater. He was the first in East End to use electricity in his home, and later owned the district's first satellite dish. He was the United Church's full-time organist. George W. Bodden was a trustee for the International College of the Cayman Islands from 1976 until his death.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Rotary Central Cayman Islands witnessed the first virtual changeover where Colin Fawkes, the 34th president of Rotary Central, reviewed achievements, presented awards while opening the door of the new Rotary Central year 2020 through 2021. Witnessed by over 80 Rotarians and guests, unimpeded by distance and separation. Jeanne Moss was installed as the 35th president of Rotary Central Cayman Islands. President Jeanne is the 5th Lady President of Rotary Central. The installation ceremony was effected by the then 7020 Rotary District Governor-elect Charles Seeley of the Bahamas, along with Assistant District Governor David Cacaldi of the Cayman Islands. New Rotary Year, new year of opportunities to serve our community. Thank you, President Colin. Job well done. Welcome President Jeanne of Rotary Central Cayman Islands. Rotary opens opportunities.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling, West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard. System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku. We have about 10 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news, and we have 2 callers, so let's accommodate those callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am very well. Look here, OC, I don't know if you're going to problem. I don't know what your problem is.
Could be many, could be multiple.
Apple pan, my friend, a little piece of grape tree, few almonds, like sand green, and stuff like that. You know, little logwood and thing. I know we need to finish with the logwood because we feel like okay, man. Including logwood, but you know, yeah.
There's something else that they use too, you know.
Yeah, maybe not.
You're not gonna go there, okay?
You got for the rebound camera right there.
You know, I don't wear animals. I don't wear cows or anything like that. But I'm sure I could find some somewhere.
Yeah.
You got plenty of that up around Savannah and Newlands.
Yeah, but it that works, you know.
It does, yeah.
It be down here,
at one point in time, that's all we had.
Yeah, they be down here killing me for days and days. You can't go outside, and I get 2 good fire burns. Don't make them kill me now. I get 2 good fire burns 2-3 days, and you can get a little respite. I'm telling you, it worked. Our old people had it right all the time. But I just want to thank the gentleman that called before about the situation at the bank.
Yes.
For standing up, because that's most time I want Caymanians to understand that's all it takes. It don't take into the street. Sometimes it just takes to stand up and maybe 1 or 2 support situations and be good. Be good. And so I thank him for standing up, because really that bank, not even in COVID time, but that bank really needs to take a look at itself, and I'm glad that he can say, you know, I see little situations where they look like they want to change things to the positive side for the customer, because it really is needed. And I would also ask them, my God, look at your structures and your policies. When poor people come there like myself, and I bring in a check from a boss who has vetted himself and paid his fees, change the check, please. We're not all criminals. Change the check.
Yeah, caller, do you believe that it is just restricted to this particular jurisdiction, or is that have we heard from other jurisdictions any complaints about this institution as well?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm not gonna. The money now is a thing I don't have, so I don't care about people that got in it. You know, that kind of way. But no, but I believe that collectively in Cayman, that things have been done from the top down, and everybody sign on, because one time we didn't have so much of this and so much of that, so much of these bank fees, and you know, I just think that that's the manager's bonus at Christmas, and so it ticks me off. But I mean, life can't be all about making $1 every second. We didn't have that here in the Cayman Islands, and it's being introduced by people who want to be here because of our structures that we have, and they make off like bandits. Give us a break. You know, at a time like this, you see people, older people, standing in line, and I wouldn't say they didn't acknowledge, because that's not true, because I've gone there and, you know, I've hold up my card, I'm a senior citizen, and they breathe me in. I've seen them take other people in, but that's not all for life. That's not all to life. There are little things, just little simple things, like the man say, get a few tents, put out a few chairs for the elderly to sit in and patiently and peacefully wait their turn. We will do that, but acknowledge that, you know, as an institution, these institutions in Cayman can do better than they do, because, like I say, I believe they make off like bandits. Everything is nice here in the Cayman Islands. don't continue to treat Cayman Islands people like dogs. I don't like it.
Caller.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. Have a good weekend as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm blessed. See, you hear that last caller? That last caller, she hold up her senior citizen card. No wonder nobody believes her and harass her. She got to wait till she get older.
All right. At least look older, right?
Yeah. Those mosquitoes, man, they're bad. I want to just sort of give a food for thought. I used to, about 3 or 4 years ago, mosquitoes didn't used to bother me. And then
we're getting some background noise from you, caller. Getting some background noise.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
much better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah, that's my speakerphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these GMO mosquitoes that they let go down here, they're the ones that's biting us now.
Mm-hmm.
Some version of that, because I never felt mosquitoes or seen mosquitoes this intense or felt them bite this hard. And I never felt so many of them
and when
all hours of the day.
When you hit them, you can hear their bones crack.
They're like they got jackhammers. But that's a real thing that happened, and them GMO mosquitoes that I see now, because they're not the same with the stripes that I see that bite me. It's really small black mosquitoes that
and the sting is hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we got, when they let those go, they didn't know anything about what was going to happen. I seen where we could see needle cases, the dragonflies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up to about 5 or 6 years ago. Now, you don't see any at all, and they used to eat the mosquitoes. But I see a dragonfly that is small up in the Barkers area, around all that swamp area, in masses. That they're smaller and black, and they look like giant mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. Caller, we have about 1 minute before we go to the news, so I want you to make sure that you get everything in.
That's it. I just want people to think about them GMO mosquitoes and the common factor in, what we have in a mosquito problem today. That is totally different than what we used to have.
Yep, and thank you very much, caller, for that. Thank you very much. And while we may not have any scientific evidence to back it up, we have the anecdotal evidence there that the mosquitoes, they're larger. To me, they are more aggressive as well. I believe that they're even smarter, because when you put the off on you, they can find the little spots where you haven't put it, and they will find it as well. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe we created a monster. Yeah.
Something has changed. I can't say if it's Oxitec or what it was, but what I would like, because I know the background to Oxitec and how that happened, and it should not have happened. What I would like is for MRCU to now do a follow-up.
Yes.
And let the public know, well, this is the situation, or this is where we are with that, and this is what the longer term effect of it is, and let the public know, be transparent, because something has obviously changed.
And maybe if we get a group of people together, get some freedom of information requests that are probing, and we know exactly what we're looking for, and that would help as well. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned for the record with MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku, will continue after the 8 o'clock news.
Studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
Foster's, you can save big on your groceries.
This week we have Essential Everyday Almond Milk, $3.99 each. Save $1.30. Colgate Optic White Toothpaste, $3.49 each. Save up to $5.50. And Ocean Spray Juices, 4 for $5. Save $1.76 on 4.
Price is good July 9th to the 22nd, 2020. For more big savings, pick up our weekly specials flyer in-store or visit fosters.ky. Foster's, better prices because we care.
the voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Did you know that with the COVID-19 Emergency Withdrawal Program, we reviewed over 12,000 member applications in May, approved over 8,000 applications, and paid over CI 90 million to our members from June 12th onwards? We are the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, and we're here for you. For further information regarding the Emergency Withdrawal Program, visit chamberpension.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630.
Your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Premier the Honourable Alda McLaughlin says measures are soon to be implemented to ensure people in need of government's financial assistance are not double dipping.
We anticipated that could possibly be an issue, so we actually wrote into the change to the law, the amendment to the law, or I'm not sure whether the law or the regs, that the Department of Labour and Pensions requires a list of all the persons who have received grants to be provided to them, not grants, withdrawals that have had the benefit of withdrawal, provided to them on a monthly basis, and that can be used then by not just that department, but more broadly to ensure that we are not assisting people who have the means to look after themselves.
The Premier made the announcement in Legislative Assembly last week. Civil servants who wish to support the CIG Cares Community Support Program are now able to do so by filling out a simple online form. The program provides civil servants with an opportunity to donate a portion of their salary each month to help the most vulnerable families and seniors in the community who are clients of government's Needs Assessment Unit.
Absolutely voluntary on how much you give, voluntary on how long you want the duration of the payment to continue. And our plan is to have it initially for the NEU, but maybe if this is something that really takes off and does very well, we could expand it to other charges as well. But our hearts and minds right now are with those at the NEU. Our staff there has been doing a really wonderful job meeting the demands, and we want to be there with them and help them do their jobs a bit better by having some additional funds to give out.
Deputy Governor the Honourable Franz Manderson said civil servants were able to start the process as of July 1st.
So we want to spend about a week or two doing some promotions around it to make sure that all civil servants are aware. As you know, some people are working remotely and some persons don't have access to fill out forms and all those things. So we want to give it about a week or two to get around the civil service.
For more information, head to exploregov.ky/community-COVID-19. Or if you're a civil servant, you can check out the Hub intranet. And the president, director, and staff of the Center for Theological Leadership Training Cayman Islands has announced their third graduation service, which is taking place this weekend. It's happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Church of God Prophecy Victory Tabernacle on Eastern Avenue. The event will be led by the bishop, and the keynote address will be done by Reverend Randy Von Cannell, pastor of the Cayman Islands Baptist Church in Savannah. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Rosemary Main. Beijing says it will impose tit-for-tat measures on the United States after Washington announced sanctions on China over its policies in the Xinjiang region. One of those targeted by Washington is Chun Chuan-Guo, thought to be the architect of China's detention of hundreds of thousands of Uyghur Muslims in re-education camps in Xinjiang. The video-sharing app TikTok says it stopped its operations in Hong Kong. Users say the app is no longer available. Earlier this week, the company said it would carry out the move after China granted itself sweeping powers in the territory. Under new legislation, social media platforms can be fined and their staff imprisoned if they refuse to take down material deemed illegal. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has warned that the chances of a nuclear confrontation have recently increased seriously. He said Russia was ready to negotiate a new arms control treaty with the United States, but he was not optimistic that the current START treaty would be extended. Legislators in the Philippines have voted to keep the country's top broadcaster off air in a row widely seen as an attack on media freedom. ABS-CBN was first ordered to stop broadcasting in May following accusations of bias against the Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. Venice is testing its multi-billion-dollar system of floodgates in full for the first time today. The project consists of 78 mobile barriers surrounding the Italian city's lagoon, which can be raised to block high waters coming in from the Adriatic Sea. Conservationists are planning to introduce wild bison to British woodland for the first time in thousands of years in a project to restore an ancient habitat. Local wildlife trusts are preparing to settle a small herd of endangered European bison, the continent's biggest land mammal, in a nature reserve in southeast England within 2 years. They say the beasts will help to manage their habitat naturally. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Did you know that with the COVID-19 emergency withdrawal program, we reviewed over 12,000 member applications in May, approved over 8,000 applications, and paid over CI 90 million to our members from June 12th onwards? We are the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, and we're here for you. For further information regarding the emergency withdrawal program, visit chamberpension.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Digicel is all about giving customers more convenience, more peace of mind, and more flexibility. Do more with the new My Digicel app. Buy plans, pay your bill, track your credit, track your data, and monitor your accounts. It's easy to use and has everything you need in one place. It's time to simplify your life, so go ahead and see for yourself. Download the new My Digicel app today. More made simple.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Did you know you must ensure all utensils are washed with detergent and rinsed with hot water if they make contact with flood water? For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
That's a good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 86 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 82 degrees. Synopsis indicate isolated localized showers and possible thunder, along with light southeasterly winds and slight seas, are expected today. An increase in cloudiness and showers from late tonight is also expected as a tropical wave moves into the area. This wave is moving west at 10 to 15 knots. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving west. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on newly formed Tropical Storm Faye. The storm is north of our monitoring area, and further information can be found at www.nhc.noaa.gov. This storm poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of localized afternoon showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers this evening, becoming cloudy with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder from late tonight. Showers will be locally heavy at times, especially over Cayman Brac and Little Cayman from late tonight and early morning for Grand Cayman. Temperatures falling to the low 80s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast, 5 to 10 knots with higher gusts, in and around heavy showers, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this afternoon at 1:49, low tide tonight at 7:43. The sun will set this evening at 6 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:55. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning as the tropical wave moves over the western Caribbean.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
Super Stitch. We are known for our amazing fabrics, top quality tailoring, and dressmaking. But did you know that we also carry trimmings, glitter, sequins, acrylic paints for fabrics and craft, floral wire, glues, markers, foam balls, and assorted ribbons? Yes, we do. You have a do-it-yourself project? Just pop into Super Stitch and see what we have in store for you. There is a craft item for your every need.
My favorite, the beads, glass ones, flat, and even those shell ones.
Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Steady but flowing traffic. Coming from the Eastern Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, steady traffic. Traffic is busy in some sections of Crew Road, other sections steady. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, moderate flow of traffic. And traffic flowing pretty good on Edward Street and Shedden Road. Looking towards the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing pretty good. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive, and on Orson Road, traffic is moderate. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic outlook. Remember, click it or ticket.
Our subs made your way with multiple ordering and delivery options. Subway is making it easy for you to enjoy your favorite sandwiches, pizzas, and salads by offering delivery until 10 p.m. from West Bay to Bordentown. $5 delivery fee, no minimum order. Call the Subway location nearest to you or simply WhatsApp your order to 929-4658. You can also order Subway from Let's Eat or the Bento app, or visit our Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, West Shore Center, Industrial Park, East End, Windham, and Countryside Shopping Village. Visit Subway Cayman's Facebook and Instagram page for current store hours. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Hey, hun, what you doing?
Putting things away in the shed since it's hurricane season. You know, preparing for the better.
Don't you mean preparing for the worst?
No, for the better. Since we have BritK Insurance, we're fully covered against hurricanes. Plus, they have response teams ready to help us file a claim faster. If I were preparing for the worst, I'd watch football all day.
Still don't get it.
Isn't there a match on?
Oh, really?
Let Brit K prepare you for the better this hurricane season. Call 949-8699 or visit britk.ky.
Mommy, have you been taking your medication? No, I think I forgot to pick it up. Your doctor prescribed it for a reason, so you should be taking it regularly. I know, TD. Thanks for the reminder.
If you are elderly or vulnerable and need your prescription delivered to your home, contact the Health Services Authority Pharmacy at 949-8600. Taking your medication when prescribed is important to your health, and your health matters to us. For more information about our pharmacy hours and locations, visit hsa.ky. or call 949-8600.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku. Earlier, at the opening of the show, I did point out that there was another couple celebrating a wedding anniversary today, and that individual was scheduled to be on the show this morning. But, of course, if you have a choice between being on For the Record or celebrating your 21st wedding anniversary with your wife, I think that's a no-brainer at the end of the day. Which one, you choose. So we want to wish Mr. Christopher Saunders and Miss Shawnette Saunders a happy anniversary, their 21st anniversary, and Mr. Saunders believes that Miss Shawnette deserves a medal for, I agree with being there for 21 years with him. Yes. Mr. Sugu, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to also wish them happy anniversary, and I joined Shawnette in her well, I guess I joined Chris. I agree with Chris in saying that Shawnette deserves an award. I think next Heroes Day we'll arrange that for her. But I hope they both have a good anniversary together and enjoy the day. We have to appreciate those moments in life and share them with those that support us and love us. So that's why I'm here. I decided that I would come on the show instead of Mr. Saunders so he could attend to his marital affairs. Yeah. keep things good at home.
So Chris and Shawnette have a wonderful day. I believe we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Suku.
Morning.
I have a serious problem. Let's see if you can deal with it. No, I've been driving coming up home from town night before last night. There's a bus driver, one of these public bus. There's 4 of us on the line, 3 ahead of me and I behind 4 cars. The man put on his indicator, 3 cars passing. When I about now by passing and he pulled out on me, I had to go in between him and another car coming down on me.
Wow.
These bus drivers, I don't know whether they're hungry for $1 and they're trying to get their destination quicker than the other one, but they need to stop it, or we need to have native drivers that are not hungry for $1. That's number 1. Number 2, in the night, they do not dim their lights. Don't care how much you dim your lights and ask them to take off that bright. You'll see they don't.
That's most drivers, not just, you're not referring to just bus drivers with that now, though, right?
No. This is general.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
Then last night when I was coming home, there's a lady driving a car. She put on her emergency flashers from Mango Tree, coming up spots, coming straight up to Borden Town. Emergency flashers is not for that. If that, you got to know what that is for.
Yeah, one of 2 things I believe happened there. She didn't realize it was on or didn't know how to turn it off.
So see, another thing I think they should start to give them people their test driver's license in the night. Then they'll know how to use their lights. Another thing over here, I'm talking about the Royal Bank. When I used to go there, and they used to charge me $10 to achieve my check. do they realize or see that when Royal Bank started would be the Siemens that had most money? That was one of the 36 members in the Royal Bank were down by old Comat, down by the sea. They know all of that. And the treats are so bad, man.
Yep.
And to my politician Sanders, I don't even know what to say about him. But anyway, today has been the first out of us. I hope he enjoys himself, and I hope he knows talking.
Yeah. So we haven't seen you in quite a while. You haven't come down there and visited us, but of course, we haven't been there since the lockdown as well. But hopefully, we'll start getting together soon.
See, I got my bond, because I said I'm staying, so I stay. What you want me to do?
But you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the contact because I said better stay in fucking.
That's true. Stay safe.
The Cayman Defense Forces out, so definitely got to stay in because we don't get
Yeah, we don't want you getting in trouble with the law.
Yeah. I remember talking about the mosquitoes. I remember at one time we had a contingent of Cubs and Scouts from Jamaica down here, and they used to call them mansquitas instead of mosquitoes. Mansquitas. Anyway, my friend, you take care, and we will continue to hammer home because some of the driving that we see on the roads of the Cayman Islands, it is atrocious.
Then at the same time yesterday when I was coming down, a bus and 2 cars, see.
Wow.
When I was coming to town, a bus, one small car in the front, the bus in the middle, and another car behind. Now, come on, see, man, come on.
Yeah.
It's to my master driving, so see what you can do, Pete.
Yeah. I think we have to ramp up the testing requirements.
And also the enforcement also.
Yes.
Because I have experienced this almost on a daily basis. And if I observe it and this caller observes it, it's not just something that's specific to us. Everybody's experiencing the same thing. But the enforcement needs to ramp up because I've seen some crazy driving with the public buses.
Yeah,
I've seen a public bus reversing down a main road, into head oncoming traffic. Happened to be me.
Yeah. They feel like they have a license to do anything that they want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to put people's safety first.
Yeah.
And I think the police needs to step up now and really start enforcing. I think the public transport unit needs to really look at who they're giving these licenses to and who they're allowing to operate public buses.
Definitely.
It's just a matter of time before there's a really serious accident that's going to happen.
I agree. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy anniversary again.
Thank you. Listen, first of all, I got pulled out to go walking this morning. So.
I hope that was after you delivered that breakfast in bed.
No, we did the breakfast. No, the kids did the breakfast. The kids did the breakfast. They decided to spoil us, but they're still on summertime now, so they got their own hours.
Okay.
Wake up this morning, Sean is like, come, let's go walking. So
well, that's
got a
good.
little hour and change. Yeah, no, actually felt good. Listen, tell Bella he needs to talk about getting some sprats done is what he need to do, because I know he be frying them sprats and I don't get no call from him for no sprats, so he need to do better than that. But no, gentlemen, I just want to say thanks very much, and Oliver just want to say thanks also. I know you had your surgery earlier this week, or your procedure, and for you to be out so early, that's a real trooper right there. And I meant to pull up at the last minute, so when I realized, well, I don't want to say what I got to say now, I think Charlotte may be listening, but yeah, when I realized I couldn't make it, so... but I just want to say thanks much, and let's keep it up. But I really appreciate the greetings.
All right, bro. Have a good day. Give my best to Shawnette.
Yeah, well, my sister messaged her and told her happy 21st, see it to a day or something like that. So, it go already.
Yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen, y'all have a good one. And
take care. Enjoy.
Okay, take care.
Okay. Mr.
All right,
Suku, over to you, sir.
Yeah, I actually, he's talking about my procedure because getting up in age now, so I had to go and do my first colonoscopy and get that out of the way.
Yes.
But I really encourage people to, when they're nearing the age that I am, to really take those things seriously and get them done, because it's a bit intimidating and a lot of anxiety prior to it, but it's you get through it pretty easily. And I must say that the doctors here at the HSA are excellent, and they took really good care of me. And I'm back here, back to normal. So, I'm really grateful that they were there to look after me that way. But it's a load off my mind now. Haven't gone through that. So I encourage everybody that's around 50-ish to start thinking about doing those things.
Yeah, better to do. Speaking of the HSA, Mr. Suku, what we'd like to do is to share the information that they have provided in relation to the district clinics and their resumption of normal operating hours. And they have said that given the reduction in government COVID-19 pandemic suppression levels, the district health clinics of the Health Services Authority have resumed their regular opening hours, which are, for West Bay, for instance, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., Wednesdays, 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to noon. For the pharmacy in West Bay Clinic Pharmacy, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Wednesdays, 1:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. The pharmacy is closed on Saturdays and Sundays. For the Bordentown Clinic, Monday and Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And on Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Those are the clinics. That's Bordentown. For the Bordentown Clinic Pharmacy, Monday and Thursday, 1:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's no pharmacist on Tuesdays, and they're closed on Saturdays and Sundays. That's for the pharmacy. For the East End Clinic, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. For the East End Clinic Pharmacy, Monday and Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're closed Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. For the Northside Clinic, Monday through Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. And for the pharmacy, Tuesdays and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're closed Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. For Georgetown, the general practice by appointment only, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. They're closed on Sundays and public holidays. For the acute care clinic, walk-in, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. They're closed on Sundays and public holidays. And for the Georgetown Clinic Pharmacy, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I must say that the pharmacy, they do a wonderful job at their new location for pickups and everything. It is so convenient. Again, want to give a big shout out to all of those entities, government and otherwise, who have done such a sterling job and continue to do such a sterling job during this COVID-19 period as well. Anything you want to add, Mr. Suku, to that?
No, I want to join you in giving them some praise. It's not been easy because I've been to the hospital. I've seen how things are operating. And while it might seem a little harsh, because when you get there, security is definitely in charge of that facility, and you don't mess up and go to the wrong place, or you don't have your mask on, because they're going to tell you about it. But they're doing it for your safety. What I will encourage people to do now that we're starting to reopen medical services beyond just emergency care is to start making those appointments and getting back to checking on your health, doing your checkups. If there was any procedure that you had, postponed until we reopen, make sure you get it done now, because what they're finding is that, and Mr. Saunders talked about this, is that in a lot of countries where they stopped doing elective stuff and people getting medicals and so on, they found that the cancer rates went down during COVID. But it's not because people weren't getting cancer. It's because they weren't getting tested.
Yes.
So, remember, in those 3-4 months that you're sitting, not seeing your doctor, not doing your checkups, something could be developing. So it's best to catch things early, and it's best to get back on track with your health checks.
Okay. Good time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku, will continue after this short commercial break.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling, West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
The Toyota Thon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas, with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyota-thon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
When a storm is approaching, be sure to not only stock up on drinking water, but also non-drinking water. This is water that can be used for cleaning and washing. You can store non-drinking water in clean bathtubs or other large sterile containers. Visit the Water Authority's website, www.waterauthority.ky, or follow us on social media for more hurricane preparedness tips.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku. I just want to remind you that the phone lines are open as well. Mr. Suku will take any calls, any queries that you may have, or any comments that you would want to make as well. So I'm going to throw the mic back over to you, Mr. Suku.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, one of the things that we started to talk about earlier was the mosquito problem. And what I actually did when we were last at the LA, I had submitted a question on the Rackley, well, on the dikes overall, really, but to question why, when we were going to start clearing and getting the dikes back into working condition, mm-hmm. because what we've discovered is that the Rackley dikes in Newlands, they haven't functioned properly in 15 years. So when you think about that, that's supposed to to provide a natural solution to reducing the mosquito population without the use of chemicals and all that. So 15 years of that not working, and we're seeing, I think that contributes quite a bit to the mosquito production in that area.
And it has to do with the mixture of the
salt
introduction
water.
of salt water, right? Yes.
And as I said in my question into the minister, I'm not an engineer, so I don't understand all of the technicalities, but I do understand there has to be a flow, an exchange of fresh water and salt water. What they've confirmed is that the culverts which would allow access to the seawater coming in are not working. So they have repaired them. They have repaired culverts in Crystal Harbor area and up by the on the Harquail bypass area, but we haven't touched the Rackley situation at all. So there's a 10,000 acre area of swampland really that is producing mosquitoes without much to slow it down. And that, as you can imagine, is contributing quite a bit to the problem. So I've gotten a commitment now from the Minister of Health and the Minister of Works, Minister Seymour and Hugh, to say that they will work with MRCU to go about first clearing the area, because there's a lot of bush that's grown up in the canals. What I won't suggest is that they touch the mangroves, but anything else that can be removed, and then look at fixing those culverts so that we do get that exchange again, and the dikes actually function, because right now it's inoperable, and that would go a long way to relieving some of this mosquito problem. So hopefully that can start to happen. I made a suggestion that they when they restart the NICE program, which I've heard is going to happen soon, that some of that clearing can be done then, because I know my constituency, I have a lot of heavy equipment owners, independent guys who have excavators and so forth that can be hired to do this work, because one of the things that came out is they only have one excavator at MRCU. They have one operator. To make a dent in this, you're going to need a team of people working. So my suggestion is that they make it part of the NICE program, hire these equipment operators who don't have much work. Put them back to work, and it'll actually pay off, because the cost of doing this versus the cost of larviciding and adulticiding mosquitoes versus the public nuisance and the threat to health, it's worth it. It's well worth it.
And what when they do, if they do agree to put that out to allow local companies, small companies to participate in it, is not give a main contract to any established and big company in the Cayman Islands, because when they turn around and subcontract it, they're going to do it for pennies in terms of what they're going to offer those small contractors as well. So do like you do with the NICE program with the individual employment.
Exactly.
Do that with the heavy equipment operators as well.
Because those equipment operators need to get back to work as well. But you can kill two birds with one stone with this project. So I think that the minister did say that Minister of Health said he supported it, and the Minister for Works got up and said he would definitely take it on board. So I'm going to try to meet with them to discuss how we move forward with it.
Excellent. I believe you have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Mr. Suku.
Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, God is good. I trust in Jesus, and He's taking care of me.
Excellent.
Amen.
I mean, I'm serious. I don't worry about anything. God He takes care of me. He gives me what I need. I tell you, if we all would just stop and think and say, if we got our health and strength, we got food on the table, we got a place to play, a place our heads at night to sleep, and we're able to get around and help others who are less fortunate, that's a lot to be thankful for,
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we need to do more of that. But anyway, what I want to talk about this morning was the thing with the mosquitoes, because when Oxitec first came down here, and I heard all the negative stuff about this thing that we're going to do, and nobody wanted to play with it anyplace else, but they came here and somebody convinced us that we could do it. And the thing that I noticed is as soon as they let go some of these mosquitoes that were supposed to, destroy the one that's give you dengue and all that kind of thing. That have you noticed that the mosquitoes don't buzz anymore? I remember when I was growing up, when we would get rainy season and the mosquitoes would come out and you would hear them around. It was like a song they were singing around you. And those mosquitoes, when they pitched on you, they were bigger, in my opinion, because I see these all the time. I saw one the other day down by the beach, and I saw it on my arm, and I said, I'm going to watch him, see if he's going to bite me now. And he sat there for must have been a minute or so, and I could watch his little thing going into my arm, and I'm saying, I don't think he's carrying any disease or anything like that. So, but when I looked at him, and then he finally got filled up with blood, and then I decided to whack him then. But the thing is this, that these mosquitoes don't make noise, and they'll pitch on you. You can't feel them. You can't.
That sounds like you must have the West Bay ones because those to the east, they operate quite differently.
As I said, though, they're flying off at my constituents.
Yeah, well, you guys got the original mosquitoes then. That's what happened. They're making noise and all that. You got the original mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, something else I wanted to say to Mr. Suku too, that he could look into it, because I think sometimes when we do things in Cayman, we try to be nice to everybody. We want to, help, and it's something that's going to make the island prosper and stuff like that. We good for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading the story about the Margaritaville down there where they came in and turned, and when they started to renovate that and stuff like that, I was looking at it and I said to myself, because I've been in this business since 1964, and I watched what they were doing, and I said, this is like a facelift. It's not no real lasting, architectural work and stuff. And then when I heard that they had walked away and left a lot of contractors, local contractors here, I forget how many millions they said that they owed. And these people come here and they do that, gentlemen. And the thing that bothers me is, before they can get a license to open anything, unless they can prove there's a reason why they haven't paid the contractors and people that worked on that thing, they don't get a license to open until the people are paid. We got to do things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if we don't do these things, then they come back and go to camp, or they're not going to do blah, blah, blah. So that's my 2 cents for today. But God bless you guys, and I pray for all of us. And I know that He's listening. He's a good God.
Okay.
God bless.
Take care. Stay safe, Mr. Suku.
Yeah, and it goes further than that, OC, because I since this situation has hit us since March, I have been shocked at some of the correspondence I've received, some of the complaints and reports I've received on the way employers and businesses have treated their employees. We have people operating major duty-free stores on the waterfront, making millions of dollars a year in jewelry sales, and they have never paid pension for some of their employees.
Wow.
And these are people who are here on work permit, who are being exploited. I normally speak up for Caymanians, but I'm speaking up for everybody now. Because the Caymanians that work there have contacted me and said, that this is what this man has been doing to these people. And it's inhumane. I don't care where you come from. If you're here and you're employed in the Cayman Islands, you're on a work permit. That's permission from the government. You're making the government look bad. You're making the country look bad when you treat your employees like that. And it's rampant. We have people who have now realized that they're foul of the labor law, and they're just letting people go, making up excuses to let people go. It really needs to stop. The government, I think, demonstrated when we made changes to legislation because of COVID, that the government and the opposition were willing to be reasonable, because it's a unique situation. Businesses, we can't expect you to operate under the same standards as you were before during good times. So government showed they were willing to be flexible and give a little break here and give people time to sort themselves out. But when you're taking advantage of the people who help your business become what it is, that doesn't sit well with me at all. And I really hope, and I raise the question in the legislature, do we have enough resources at Department of Labor and Pensions and work to now look into some of these infractions? Because maybe some couldn't be avoided. Some companies couldn't do any better because they weren't making any money. They don't know, they couldn't do anything. That we understand that. But those who during pre-COVID were breaking the law and were treating their employees like dirt, they shouldn't be allowed to operate here ever again. Because it's coming to it's being exposed now, because when people went to get their pension, guess what? They couldn't find the money.
Yeah. Now, do we need some sort of a early warning system when it comes to pensions payments, so that either the pension provider, the company, the administrator, will alert someone immediately when payments have ceased, if the individual hasn't indicated, well, this person is no longer employed by me? Do we need some sort of a early warning system? I would hope and trust that we have learned a lot based on what we know now and what's coming to light as a result of the pensions withdrawal and the change in the legislation.
I hope we learn from it, because what has become clear to me is that there's no real effective monitoring. So no one, and the work permit system is there, so you should know who should be paying pension. Outside of that 9-month window for expats, everyone has to pay. So why is it that people have gone a couple of years and nothing has gone into their pension account? There's obviously a failure there in the authorities being alerted to it. So we need to revamp all those systems and understand how we can better catch people when they're up to this sort of stuff.
Okay, I want to stick on the pensions thing, because someone was giving me a story about someone the other day, but we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will discuss that particular situation as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record with MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku, will continue shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku. Back to pensions for a few more minutes. Some people are now realizing they've been paying pensions, through their employer. The deductions are being made, but they're now unable to determine which administrating company was handling their pension. So they're at a loss after working for decades with particular companies. And I'm wondering how they're finding it literally impossible to know. They would have to canvass every administrator to determine whether or not they had pensions with them. And of course, with what's going on now, they're concentrating more on trying to get payments out than dealing with other issues as well. So this person or individuals who find themselves in this situation run the risk of losing, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And their retirement.
Yes,
that's their plan for retirement. Well, see, I never did feel that our pension regime was going to work. I thought it, I encouraged it. I was glad that we were doing something because people need to have something when they retire. But I never did really see that the regime that was set up was going to be successful because the rate that you're adding money to it was never going to be sufficient for you to have enough to live off of when you retire.
Yes.
And especially those who, we've only recently implemented mandatory pension, so it was even more difficult. It's even more difficult for you to have enough there to live off of. But then when it comes to the enforcement side, and we've always seen the issues that have come up where businesses haven't paid or contributions haven't been made. In some cases, employees and employer collude and say, well, we're not going to do this and you're not going to report it. So all those sorts of things happen, and I don't see that the DLP has the resources in place to effectively monitor and police this. So things fall through the cracks and people get away with a lot. It's all coming to the surface now, but it is unfortunate because it means a lot of people have lost their retirement funds, and they're going to fall back on the government eventually.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, but I've spoken to people at the DLP, and I know that they're trying to get on top of it, but they do need the resources.
Okay.
The Premier did say that there were some new hires on the way, but it'll take time to recruit people and so on.
Okay, we have two callers. Let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Mr. Sutton, I agree with you in regards to falling back on government after a period of time. I just want to say to you guys, if you ever heard of the bar rooms of hiring, I'm interested because I understand the tips is good from $100, from $50 to $100 and up in tips to the waitresses. So.
Sounds like people are spending that pension money already, huh?
Yeah, spending that pension money in the bar room, tipping those girls real high tips. So, in the bar, just hiring. I'm coming to work because I want that $100 too, but I'm not gonna go home with them. But I just want to say to Mr. Al that I really feel that when this pension man is over there, disrespect anyone. I'm glad they got it, but they should use it very wisely. That they will try to fall back on government, and I'm hoping that they'll have a proper record that when they do go to need assessment or anybody government look at help, they can pull up this file. Say, well, you got $30,000. 1 year ago, I need to see what you to a certain extent, what you put it on to a degree. You don't have to go say, well, I went to go to the store, I repair my home and I had to buy a car, whatever, but not a $10,000 Rolex or something in that category like they did when Hurricane Ivan came and lost.
Caller, you're coming in a little bit muffled. We're straining to hear your voice. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Just a little better.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just want to say that they need to be careful spending the money because it's going to be some hard days coming here, and the Premier been saying that, and people are taking it serious. But some hard days are coming for us, and I can see a lot of cold blood throughout this island when they can't survive, and when they go to need assessment, tell them that you got your pension, we can't help you. That's where the blood pulling that we at too, I believe. But I hope it never happened. But Ms. Sophie, I want to speak about this hot dog. I just sent you a picture.
Yes, received it, with the garbage,
Yeah, down there is ridiculous. They want the beaches open months ago. This is what they want the beach open for, to leave it like that at the end of the day. You want to go and have a nice time there, but yet you can't carry a garbage bag with you to take the excess garbage that you may see that you are going to add to what's already there. Come on, man. These people need to take this island in hand and appreciate it more. The first thing to say, the garbage guys can pick it up. That's besides the point. It could be their husband doing the garbage, or their son, or their father. Why display the garbage here and display it? And I finish with this, Mr. OC. One more thing. The high investor that we got here in this Cayman Island that own half of Cayman, you imagine the Premier say jobs to Caymanians, and that company is letting loose Caymanians that are still young in age. Where are they going to go? Because that man owns half of this island, and they cannot go and apply to none of his other businesses for a job. But the Premier said jobs to Caymanians. So this man owned half of the island, and he got laid off the Caymanian and got to be building 2 more hotels in the future. That means got to begin work permits, and the Caymanians are out of a job, and they can't even go and reapply at one of his businesses. No, man, that's impossible. But anyhow, I got more to talk about. I might just call back.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Take care. Stay safe.
She raised some important subjects, points, because just the littering. I think most representatives feel this way. It's almost like, what else can we try? Because you preach day in and day out that you know keep your communities clean. We organize cleanups every Earth Day. I'm out there with a group of people, and every Earth Day I notice that it hasn't gotten any better. It gets worse. People just need to start taking more pride. We shouldn't have to threaten people with prosecution and fines. For them to just take pride in their surroundings and their environment, and don't throw garbage on the ground. It's simple, but I see it. I know exactly what she's talking about, and it's disgusting because people go there and they eat and they just toss the food containers out the car window and drive off, and it's nasty. It's disgusting. Yes. But I don't know. We need to get to a point where we're taking more pride in our culture, in our home, our island, because what I see is disrespectful. Yep. And the older Caymanians didn't live like that.
We have 3 callers queued up, and we have 3 minutes before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. Let's grab one caller. Caller, you have 3 minutes. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure there's no static in the way, no.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
It sounds like you have something important to say.
Yeah, certainly. Well, you're in my page today, my topic, and I'm preparing to pound this much as possible. The environment of this place, gentlemen. You have people, and I got broad shoulders. They're not from here. They pretend they're from here, but they take a great passion in throwing garbage out of the place, out of the car, or any place that they don't care. They're overjealous of the Cayman Islands. That's what it is, because where they come from is nothing like, they have never seen anything like this. So they really want to bring this place down to their level. When I look at the guys that collect the garbage, I feel so really sorry for these guys, that people are allowed to just throw the garbage out, any kind of old house, not properly contained, that the garbage guys can go and take the garbage out of the container and put it in the garbage truck. Besides that, gentlemen, look again. This is almost the middle of July. Where's the rainfall that we're supposed to have? Come on, what's going on? We need a council, into this island. Everything is pounded, talking about this and that and that, because that is political mileage for some of us. I know that's what it is. We have an issue on this island with our environment that is so serious. People do not realize how serious it is. Air-conditioned car, air-conditioned office, air-conditioned house. Really? Well, you look at your vegetation. Drive around the island and look at your vegetation. A few little showers between Georgetown and 7 Mile Beach, while most of the island is perishing. We need people in this island on a council to say that any developer who gets guys to drive up and down in a pickup truck with a big tape on the side and apartments and whatever, no. Something is radically wrong, and nobody is speaking out about this thing and say, look, I am going to get together as a politician or representative and decide it's not going to be like this. We are in serious trouble. God help us that we don't get a serious hurricane coming to the Cayman Islands this season. Because if you think when we've seen Ivan, you look at what we got now. Flimsy buildings going up. Your vegetation is disappearing, replaced with a few palm trees. And there you go, gentlemen. What's going to happen to this place? Where are we? Are people conscious of what's taking place? Anyway, I guess my 3 minutes is just about up, so I just hope what I said will be taken seriously, because I intend to get a couple of guys together and do some revising of the action committee, because enough is enough, and this is too much. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, caller. We still have a couple of callers on hold. We're going to ask those callers to stay tight. Headline news. When we return, we will take your calls, so please stay tuned.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The medical officer for health reported 210 COVID-19 test results on Thursday. All came back negative. Travelers arriving in the United Kingdom from dozens of countries no longer have to self-isolate for 2 weeks. The rules are being relaxed for arrivals from more than 70 countries and British overseas territories. Hong Kong is likely to suspend all schools amid a spike in locally transmitted cases of COVID-19. Top U.S. diseases expert Dr. Anthony Fauci said some states in the country reopened too fast, adding, quote, "We're in a very difficult, challenging period right now." It comes as the U.S. posted another record rise in cases of more than 65,000 in 24 hours, according to Johns Hopkins University. Singapore is holding a national election with strict measures in place. And globally, there are now more than 12.2 million cases of COVID-19, with more than 550,000 deaths. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. 2 callers still on hold, so we're going directly to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Doc?
This is Steve McField here. Good morning to Mr. Suku.
Morning, Doc. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Gentlemen, you know, the talk about this pension thing has been going around and around and up and down and up and down. And yet, the problem exists even though the solution is right before us. And that is why when people come to my office and ask me my opinion about it, I say, take your money and run. Take whatever you can get from this pension scheme and run. Because this is one of the only countries, except for the United States in the old days, when the people who belong to unions, and I can remember all the cases with Hoffa and all of those people who took the unions, this pension money, and invested it in gambling casinos in Nevada. Gave the money to their friends to invest in gambling casinos in Nevada, and a lot of people went to jail for that. A lot of people in America went to jail for that. There should be one pension scheme, one national pension scheme. And all of this stuff about employer taking your money out of your paycheck and giving it to somebody else, and then somebody else is investing your money on your behalf and then charging you commission and then putting it on the stock market is utter nonsense. It's idiotic. And it will not work. And it can't work. And when some people showed me the deductions that they got from their pensions, the losses, $30,000 in their pension, and they come back and they only have $20,000 left because $10,000 was lost by some guy speculating on the stock market with their life savings. It is criminal, and the government and the MLAs and every one of them should be leading a spearhead against it. It is not right, and we should scrap the scheme we have now and go to a national pension scheme where every employer has to send that money to a one place. Mm-hmm. Either is to the government or to one national pension origin, like it's done in Canada. When I worked in Canada, every time I got my paycheck, I knew how much money they took out and how much money would they send to Canada Pension. Here, it's a free for all, and it's just another scheme that whoever thought this scheme up, another scheme to get employment and so other people could get commission off the hard earnings of Caymanian people. It's not going to work, and they should. And when they come to see me, I told them, get your money and run. Take as much as you can get and run, because in the long term, you're not going to have any money at all. What really bothered me too is the fact that when the government said that you have to get your 10% of your pension, you have to get $10,000 or whatever it is, and then 25%, and then some institution who held your pension tell you that you need the pension and so forth, breaking the law and refusing to obey the law, and nothing was done, no sanctions was done at all. That really bothers me. And if it had been some little guy on the streets who had a traffic ticket and didn't pay it and so forth, he would be in jail, or he would be before the courts.
You're referring to the appearance at the Public Accounts Committee meeting? Yes,
yes. And another thing that I saw this week that happened. Mr. Suku, you were secondary to a motion that attempted to bring closure to the whole idea of these beach access that have been closed.
Yeah, the public rights of way,
and then you withdraw it.
Mm-hmm.
You withdraw it without seeing the legislation that the government has drafted. I would never have withdrawn my motion unless they showed me in writing what they have. You withdraw the motion on the platitude that they are working on something. I would never done that, because if they had mean anything to protect the Caymanian people, they would have had this done years ago. Years ago, administration after administration after administration did nothing about it. I would never have withdrawn my motion until they showed me the piece of legislation or showed me what they had drafted. That is what happened to us. We always pass the buck, and we don't stand up.
Well, but in that instance, because the law has already been passed, so the public lands law does have that criminal act in there.
Public lands law?
Sorry?
Who's enforcing the public lands law?
Well, that's my next comment. That is going to be my next comment, because my concern is that we're supposed to get a report table once a year on the activities of the commission, and they also have the ability to ticket people for violations. And I want to know now, and I'm following up, Mr. Macfield. Don't worry about it. I am following up to find out, to ensure that we've tabled those reports annually in the legislature. I can't remember exactly if we have, but I'm going to make sure that has been done, and I'm going to find out how many people have been charged or ticketed under the system since it's been put in place. The fact that we're just bringing the regulations now means that not very much, I think, has happened since the law was passed. However, because Mr. Eden and I discussed it, and he said, look, I'll withdraw it based on the minister now giving this commitment to get the stuff sorted out. So we decided to cooperate on that in that respect. But I do take your point. I take your point. It needs strong opposition, and it needs to be, things need to be done now.
You know what it needs, Mr. Chusuko?
Mm-hmm.
It needs a notice to them and an ultimatum. You have 30 days to clear these access to beaches. Otherwise, I'm bringing my bulldozer in and I'm clearing them myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do if I was a legislator, if I was elected. But you see, the right people cannot get elected in this country, because to get elected, it seems to me that you have to be on your knees with your knee pad, and you have to be with your up and with your boot, with your shoe to polish people's shoes. That's how it seems to me to get elected. Another thing, again, the point was made today about people on the waterfront. A lot of them, not Caymanians, not paying the people's pension and so forth. Well, Mr. Magoo, there is Section 16 of the Constitution, Section 16.3, that says that we have the right to regulate who comes here, what kind of business they can do, how long they can stay, what they can engage in, as long as they're not Caymanians. Mm-hmm. Why is the Constitution not being implemented to protect the Caymanians' rights and to protect the rights of other people? I do not understand that. Why have a constitution in the first place if it doesn't mean anything?
Well, we've seen now, because I raised the issue and I've reported it. Now, whether or not those with the authority to deal with it are going to do anything, that's another story. But I have made reports, and I'm not afraid to say that, because I've seen the victimization of people, Caymanian and non-Caymanian. And unfortunately, we have a government in place now who picks and chooses what sections of the Constitution they want to respect. I raised the question the other day as well. Why is it that I am not being allowed to meet with Cabinet once a quarter as per the Constitution, because I'm not a member of any major party and I'm not represented in Cabinet, and I have a right under the Constitution to meet with Cabinet once a quarter and ask for things on behalf of my constituents. And I've had one meeting since leaving the Progressives. One meeting.
But have you gone to your constituency and explained all this to them? Have you had meetings with your constituents and explain the Constitution to them and explain the rights that the government is abrogating for them? That's what you need to do. You need to educate your people. And when this happens, you need to bring them out in the streets. You're not going to get things by sitting down. The people in America didn't get changes by sitting down in the streets, sitting down at home and talking on the radio, hoping that it would happen. They were out in the streets when they were fed up.
No, and I agree with you. But I know my constituents very well, and I discuss these things with my constituents. What needs to happen now is that the government needs to understand that we have an election coming up in less than a year, and they're going to be held accountable for their actions. And I'm not one of those who's going to go quietly into the night. I'm going to open my mouth. I can't speak for everybody in the legislature.
You need to stand up, Mr. McCool. You need not open your mouth. You need to marshal your people, and you need to go out there, and you need to stand up in front of the legislature, and you need to not move until when they get things done. That's what you need to do. Sitting and open your mouth is not enough anymore in Cayman. You need to act. There needs to be action, and the people in the Cayman is the government, and they need to understand that, and you need to start educating them to that fact that they are the people and that the representative is only representing them, and it is not their seat that they're holding. They didn't rent that seat, or they didn't own that seat. They didn't buy it. They went on the platform and they say, we would like to represent you, and we gave them our power to represent us. That's what we need to do.
Well, and people need to be reminded of that. I agree with you. I for one, don't view my position as permanent, and that I own that seat. That belongs to the people in Newlands, and I'm privileged to sit in it. But there's activism, but what I've found now is that a lot of Caymanians are not going to put their neck out there. You think about the situation we're in. A lot of Caymanians now can't work. They're relying on the government to survive. They're relying on the government to give them grants and different things to just to eat and take care of their families. You're not going to have a surge of Caymanians going out now trying to tear down the government simply because they know they may be punished for it. And that's another thing about our democracy that worries me. The threat of retaliation is there. And I know because people tell me. But so I have to be sensitive to that fact that while I can lead people and I can encourage people to become activists and so forth, people are also scared. And so it is my job to stand up for those people. That's why I put myself forward. That's my job. And I don't expect any one of my constituents to go out there and put themselves at risk. I prefer to put myself at risk, and that's what I do. I challenge them.
Doc, I want to thank you very much. We have 3 callers queued up there. We're going to try to grab another call before we go to a commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C. Good morning to the Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Cool. Good to hear on there, Mr. Cool, and what you're trying to get done for your people and so forth. It's a difficult thing. And as Dr. Steve was saying about the pension thing, you all know what I've said from the very beginning. It was wrong, couldn't work. It should be paid to the government, anything mandatory, as income tax. All that money would now have been in government hands. You mightn't have gained much, but you wouldn't lose anything. It's in the hands of the government. as it's done anywhere in the world where it's mandatory. You must pay to the government as direct income tax. So it is, and so forth. And in the United States, the same thing with the health thing. All of Europe has a national health plan, and so does Canada. Plan. I know I have people, my close family, sisters, and our mother lived up here for years. She's passed away, and I'm my father. But they all got pensions and so forth. So on. There's 3 types of pensions out here, but it's run by the government. It's the government. You were talking earlier on about the mosquitoes and all that. It's the worst I've felt it since the 1960s. I can tell anybody that. I don't know where Mr. Ackerman, what part of West Bay he is testing, but it's a bad in West Bay too. But it's a little better now. It's reaching the start of spring again. And out there at Pedro, it was horrible last week. I know what it was out there 60 years ago, trust me. And out by the castle where I work. But anyhow, but it's terrible. I've never felt mosquitoes like that. Whether it's the Oxitec mosquitoes, maybe it is something from that. Anyway, it seems as if they're mostly nuisance mosquitoes. But anyway, that's it. And I must commend the Premier and everyone there for their actions during the COVID, the tightest and worst part of it, and His Excellency for arranging things with other countries to get people out and get back some Caymanian students and whoever else. And we know that great efforts are being made by those at the front line, the HSA staff that you talked about, and we can't praise them enough. And all the folks out there, the Minister of Health and all those on the podium who would come out and talk and so forth. Just would like to say, I think we need to get some explanation to the people about this referendum thing. There are people who are still talking about that it should be held, and it should be held on the elections day. It should be on the election ticket there. And I don't, because according to the Constitution, which I think says the government would be mandated to hold this and this referendum and so forth, which they did set a date for it, which the Constitution said. It says the government. It doesn't say any. All governments in the future would be what do you call this type of referendum?
People-initiated referendum.
Yeah, the people-initiated, but there is a thing that it's binding. But it doesn't say that it's binding on all future governments.
Right, you can't hold another government. But I think, caller, with that may be another issue that has to be litigated through the courts as well, in terms of interpreting what the Constitution says as far as a people-initiated referendum is concerned, because they went ahead, they got their 5,000 plus signatures that they needed to get. The government was the one responsible for formulating the question, on the referendum, as well. So the whole question of whether or not the government is still legally bound to have a referendum on the issue, I think that's going to be something for the courts to decide also. I want to thank that caller. We're way past our commercial break, and we still have a few callers on hold as well. We're going to ask those callers, hang in there. As soon as we return, we will take your call, so please stay tuned.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com CaymanPharmacyGroup.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore. Seaboard.
Stop the spread of coronavirus by washing your hands with soap frequently. If none is available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay at home whenever you can. Avoid close contact with people outside your household by staying a minimum of 6 feet apart and wear a mask while in public. For more information, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record in the studio with me, MLA, and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Alva Suku. We have 3 callers. And callers, I want to ask you to be as brief as possible. And I do know that at times I allow some callers to talk longer than usual, and that is one of the things that I have to work on in terms of improving my moderator skills to put people on a leash at times.
Yeah, I want to say quickly too, just before we take the calls, that just my position on the referendum. The CPR did meet the requirements constitutionally to trigger a referendum. So my opinion is that the government really has no excuse for not having one. They can announce that the project is dead. However, and that's where the disagreements come in. Yeah. Was it specific to this project or what? But I really believe that we should be having a referendum on that. But we should be having a referendum on something else too that I'll talk about in a little while. Yeah. So
and I think the way we need to relook that section of the Constitution that talks about people-initiated referendum and the sequencing of events, and whether or not in seeking those signatures for the petition, we should place more of a, and I don't want to call it an onus, but give an opportunity to those persons who are seeking a referendum to say exactly what it is that they want. So while the government will be able to frame the question has to be focused on what it is that the petitioners are seeking as well. I think we need more clarity in that. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just kind of referring back a little bit to one of the callers that called earlier about the garbage.
Yes.
And he kind of made the comment, it gave me the impression that he thinks that all, if not majority, of the garbage is being done by people who are not Caymanians. But I just kind of wish people would kind of like sway away from that kind of thinking. I mean, I cannot tell people what to think, but I have experience with Caymanians who are not clean either in that respect. They're not what I call respecting garbage because they're like thinking that the garbage kind of like have a mind of its own and can take care of itself. You know, they're just going to throw it anywhere and how they want to. Now, and also, one of the main problems, I think, is that government, from my point of view, does not appear to be taking this thing seriously. I grew up in a time in Cayman where I used to see signs all around the place as a child saying, don't litter. If you litter, you will be charged some amount of money. And I grew up with that in my mind, so I don't litter. So I remember a time when I was having problems with my garbage, I went to government, I spoke to them about it. I told them about the sign. Then some of them remembered it, and it was all this excitement. Like, you know, they took me serious, like they're going to do something about it. I haven't seen a sign up yet. To me, they're not doing anything to help the situation. It's to me, they're like kind of timid to hold the citizens responsible for their actions. And I don't understand that. I've lived in a country for a short period of time where, you know, there's a standard way set for you to store your garbage. There's a standard with an expectation. They go down so much as to say how many bags per household is acceptable for them to have outside to be collected. They went down even to tell you the size of the bag. And there were things put into place that if you, as a citizen, did not obey by those things, your
garbage stayed there. They wouldn't pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, something like that. There's nothing set into place. And to be honest, this is getting out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that for a long time. And I just wish to get back to the point where people really thought and care about what the island looked like.
Thank you very much, Paula. They always say cleanliness is next to godliness.
That's a good interlude. I could read this message quickly that I just received.
Sure.
The United Church owns the Prospect Youth Center on the Prospect Point Road. Yesterday, we had to remove 5 very large bags of garbage from the beach. Beer bottles, food containers, cigarette butts, plastic bottles, doggy droppings, bagged and unbagged. They have destroyed the gate of our garbage disposal container, and the list goes on. No respect for the property, and we do have the option to fence the property as it is not public beach access. We're simply asking those of you who come there at nights and weekends to please respect the property.
Yeah.
How hard is that to do?
Exactly.
You know?
And also to that caller's point about the Caymanian issue, we know no one walks around with a label on their back saying, I'm Caymanian. So it is very difficult to discern, who's Caymanian. You may be by Caymanian by birth, or you may be paper-generated Caymanian, as well. So we don't want to paint people with a broad brush. Back to the phone lines. Callers as brief as possible. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. It's Alice May here.
Yes.
I think I'm in trouble.
No, I'm not. I haven't got the time to beat you up.
I owe somebody a phone call.
You better believe that. Yes, anyway, it's Alice May here. Good morning, gentlemen. We've got so much to be thankful for, and there are so many issues. It would take the whole show just to list them. However, I'll put on the Concerned Citizens Group hat and in relation to beach accesses, etc. As the world knows, from 2001, we've been trying to get these beach access situation all sorted out, the unregistered accesses registered, and everything kept clean and clear. We actually met with the Public Lands Commission and have been willing to work with them, and they themselves were going to be working with the legal department. But again, as the world knows, we've been sort of reaching barriers, walls, and obstacles, including with the legal department, and not getting to finalize the registration of the accesses. Perhaps the Public Lands Commission is meeting the same obstacles that we have been meeting. There's no lack of laws. There's never been a lack of laws to get these accesses sorted out and registered. It's been the lack of enforcement of the laws. And now the Public Lands Law, that has been strengthened, was 2018, if I'm not mistaken to the date, or end of 17, to enable them to step into place and also work on the registration of these accesses. Because prior to that, it was just private citizens like myself and Esme and Annie and Betty and others to step up to the plate and try to bring some action forth on this. But now PLC can itself go to the court and do that. But again, laws, regulations, enforcement, and hitting these walls. And that's, I hope it makes sense what I've just said, but I don't want to take any more time.
It does.
All right, God bless, but we have to keep up the fight. We must not be intimidated. And it is easy to say, what's the Jamaican saying? Mouth can say anything when it learns to talk. Therefore, we must be careful what we're listening to. If they assure us, we've been assured so many times that we could have a whole volume of books, that things are going to be done, but we need more than lip service. We need action. Enforce the laws. Thanks very much. Keep safe. God bless.
Thank you. Caller, you do the same as well. Let's grab one more call before the commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, let me
just pick up where Miss Alice May left off.
You tag teaming me this morning, Mr.
Yeah, I didn't know she was going to be on. But Miss Alice May always puts it good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize, Mr. Suku, that the Attorney General misled you with information in the Legislative Assembly?
Well, I'll let you explain how that happened.
Have you read?
Caller, I'd like you to get to the point real quick. We don't have a whole lot of time.
I'm to the point right now already.
Okay, okay, good.
Have you read the prescription law? Have you read the registered land law? Under which all these are subject to?
Yeah, I have.
It's very plain. I don't understand how the opposition allowed the Attorney General to make the statement that he was making. Because it's right plainly there.
What was the statement, caller?
I'm just making them. The empty promises that he said that they would do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2001, Mr. Suku. 2001. In the meantime, they have allowed Mr. Dart to block. It's now a total of 11 right-of-ways along the West Bay Beach. I am requesting you, sir, as the opposition, to call a public meeting by the opposition in Georgetown or in West Bay on the subject of the public accesses in general. The government, I don't believe, has any intention. They're going to delay, allowed some of them for buildings to be constructed on right-of-ways. They've given permission.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Steve McField rightly called, the only way we're going to get anything is to take to the street. But before doing that, call a public meeting. Invite the Attorney General to come there. Invite the head of Land Registry to come there. And invite the person that's in charge of legal aid to be there. Because they say that they're not going to fund Miss Alice May and the group. Because access to the beaches is not in the public interest in the Cayman Islands. So I'm waiting for a statement from the opposition, hopefully within at least no more than the next 10 days. Will you call a public meeting? Yes or no? To discuss these issues.
Well, we can't right now because of the restrictions on public gatherings. But that doesn't mean that we're going to just sit idle and do nothing.
But you also have a commitment from the government that you want to give them an opportunity to see whether or not they will honor that.
And that's what we made an agreement in Parliament, which is why we withdrew the motion based on that commitment. So that now this is politics, and you know how politics gets. But we expect them to honor that agreement, and I believe that they now will, because they see that the seriousness behind it.
Exactly. Caller, I want to thank you very much. Way past our commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Toyota-thon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas, with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyota-thon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Headlines. With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I just want to apologize to the callers that we've had to cut them short simply because, we only have a limited amount of time, on the show as well, and we're trying to get as many views and get people to express their opinions as much as possible as well. We still have one caller. I will take that caller in a minute, but we also have to recognize the WhatsApp messages and emails that we received. This one says, please, can you congratulate Mr. Suku for all his efforts? The people of Newlands have seen his presence in the community, and it appears the last caller is unaware of this. Mr. Suku is very much so speaking up and not silent about many issues, and in fact is one of the only politicians looking out for the interest of Caymanians. So that was one. This other person says that they were employed by a company back in 2002 until 2004. That company no longer exists, and it was sold to another company. When I inquired about my pensions, I was told that the pensions was terminated back in 2005, and a check was made out that was news to me. When I asked if they can go back into their records to find out more about this, I was told the records were disposed of and nothing more can be done. But I don't want to accept that. I have asked about tracing the check, but they have not followed up on it. What can I do? Well, we can try to answer that question for that caller as well. This one is fairly long. I got to read fast. Good morning. The problem with the pensions and health insurance non-enforcement is that the DLP does not have the staff, resources, or the robust computer systems to track and to prosecute those unscrupulous employers. To add insult to injury, those same employers are allowed to get work permits and trade and business license renewed even if they are non-compliant with those laws. A few years ago, they introduced a joined-up system called the culture of compliance, but that has been thrown out for the sake of being business-friendly, quote-unquote, probably due to the lobbying of some political supporters and campaign financiers. Please ask Mr. Suku if he will support a gradual increase of the private pensions contributions rate from 10% to the recommended 20%. Also, is he willing to bring a private member's motion to the floor of the Legislative Assembly to pressure the government to bring a proper set of amendments to pensions fund investment regulations, which will improve the sustenance investment returns as well. And this one says, please ask that caller to show us which national or state-run pension scheme has worked without the heavy burden on the taxpayer. Let's go to the phone lines. This is going to be our final call for the morning. We're going to close the phone lines off after that to give Mr. Suku an opportunity to cover some other issues as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
It's me, John Margaret.
Welcome back.
Yeah, okay, and I want to ask Mr. Suku, do we have a law for apartment landlords? You can say yes or no, and then you can answer later behind it.
Yeah, we have a very outdated landlord and tenant law, which needs to be drastically needs to be upgraded.
I say so because we got a lot of renters on this island, and if you drive around this island and see what people go rent it, and it's not being maintained, and they're collecting rent every month, and not upgrading their apartments and the little shacks that they call rental rooms and whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. We need to get that in place because that is making Cayman look like a dump pile
Yeah.
scattered throughout the whole island. And one more thing, and I'll go. On Sound Road, I tried driving through there yesterday. That road is despicable, with the cars being wrecked on here and there in a residential area. I can't believe that whoever part of the government that has that part under their wing is loving what's happening on that Sound Road when you're trying to drive through it, and so many cars pile up on the road is right into the section where they are working. Something needs to be done. I'm not trying to take bread out of nobody's mouth. You need to make sure that where you're working, it's not interfering with other people when they got to move out and making the area look so junky and devaluing your property, your home, or whatever the case may be. And another thing I was saying, I'm going to let you go. So up here, South Sound Road by Hurley's, they put down these condos or whatever up there, and they have no way for their staff to work out the park, but on the main road.
Well, they have place, but they allow them to park on that little section there that merges to go towards South Sound, which I think is really unsafe.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, Mr. I must say too that you are very sustainable in your area, and I'm glad to have you as a representative for my area that I'm living in. And you do look out for your people, and I know you look out for me, and I just want to say that you're doing a damn good job here in Newland. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick commercial break now, and this means that when we return, Mrs. Suku, you can talk until midday. No, I'm working 10 o'clock. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether we're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
The Toyota Thon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas, with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyota Thon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I pass and we've closed the phone lines off, before I pass the mic over to Mr. Suku, and just for COVID-19 purposes, we're not sharing the same mic. So I'm not really literally passing it to him, figuratively speaking, I am. So one of our listeners, very astute listener, has sent us something that says Cruise Port Referendum, the petition for a referendum. Why a petition? And it reads, the purpose of the petition is to satisfy Section 70 of the Constitution to bring about a people-initiated referendum in which registered voters can vote through ballot, yes or no, on whether the country should proceed, and they have underlined this part, should proceed with the proposed cruise berthing facility. And they have written above is what CPR said. It was the proposed project, not any project. Cabinet did agree a question and a date. CPR continued to fight and stop the referendum. The proposed project is dead. The petition and referendum died with it. Over to you, Mr. Suku.
Well, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
It depends on the government's approach to the referendum and how they view it. And again, we're going to always have that conflict between CPR and the government on the interpretation of that. But
and they pointed out that that's from the CPR website as well. They did point that out.
Yeah. So, because the government feels the project is dead, that everything just ends. I think that the rule of law overshadows that and overrules that, and we should still have a referendum. But I think we should also be having a referendum on the domestic partnership bill. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about here today.
Sure.
Because this is not something that any of us, I believe, I can safely say, campaigned on. So we now have a bill that is out for consultation, and the government is, I think, going to bring it the end of this month. Make no mistake, because I've done some preliminary reading, and there are some very close ties between this and marriage, and there's some interlinking of this domestic partnership bill with existing laws like the matrimonial causes laws and so on. So don't think that it's totally separate legislation, because it's not. However, I'm going to embark on a process where I'm going to consult with my constituents. I didn't campaign on this. There's no, as far as I can see, any political mandate for us to do this. This is as a result of an action that was brought in court. So I need to hear from my constituents how they want me to proceed. Because I have my own personal views and my own personal position, but I can't impose those on my constituents. I need my constituents to tell me how they feel about this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a summary as factual as I can, without interjecting any personal opinion or anything. Just laying it out so that my constituents can look at that. And then I'm going to send out a survey. And I'm going to do that electronically because we're still in COVID times, and I shouldn't really be encouraging people to gather. I don't want to have public meetings, but I will do virtual meetings. I will go door to door personally to talk to constituents, and all they need to do, and I'm begging people to respond and contact me. Contact all your MLAs. Don't just let this go by the wayside, because what I will hear when we get into the legislature, the debate, is that, the response was low. People didn't really think it was a big issue, or it was something to get excited about, so we're just going to go do things one way or another. What I want is the public to take this seriously and give their own feedback and views. Contact all your MLAs. Participate in the consultation process. Let your voices be heard, because this is a major, major change, regardless of which side you're on. Fundamentally, to how we view marriage and how we view same-sex relationships. And while I want to encourage the dialogue and the feedback, I also want to encourage tolerance. I want people to respect each other's views. I don't want to be caught up in the middle of feuds and people insulting each other and so on, because I think we're all adults. We respect each other. We're a respectful country and a peaceful country. And we didn't ask for this, but it's here now, and we're going to have to deal with it. So let's do that in as civil a manner as possible, so that we can, whatever the outcome, we can rest assured that, it satisfied the majority. And we did it in a way that we didn't disrespect people's personal views and feelings and positions in life.
Now, as far as the legislation is concerned, it's really not so much about public displays and stuff like that. It is more about offering legal rights to
domestic partnerships,
but things that they don't have under that they don't have under the law now. So in terms of a person's behavior. It doesn't regulate. There's nothing in there, I think, that regulates anything in terms of personal behavior. It just has to do with affording those rights that they feel are constitutional and have been determined to be constitutional rights of sorts.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, my job as a representative is to represent what the wishes of my constituency are, and I'm going to go about meeting with my constituents and discussing this with them, so that when the time comes, I will be very confident that I know what my constituency wants me to do.
Now, what do you do when, if it is quite apparent that the government has the numbers to pass the legislation in the Legislative Assembly? What your position would still remain the same, that you would at least articulate the views of your constituents in terms of what they have fed you with, what they've given you.
And I mean, as if you're a good representative, you have to do that.
Yes.
And this is not going to be a party line vote, as far as I understand. I heard the Premier say it. This is going to be a conscience vote. He's released his cabinet from collective responsibility so that they can vote their conscience.
Yes.
I know that the leader of the opposition has said the same thing to us, to each be guided by your own conscience. So there's not going to be that political pressure to toe the party line, so to speak. This is when you got to man up or woman up and vote your conscience and vote how you feel you should vote.
But the party would still have an idea based on canvassing and stuff like that, how members of their party are going to vote, even with a conscience vote.
Yeah. So, you have that situation. But the important thing is that, people don't just sit back and watch. This is when you must get involved because, as I said, there's no political mandate for this. Nobody put this in their manifesto and said, elect me and I will get this done. So now we're in a unique situation where none of us have a mandate, and I think we should have gone down the road of referendum on this topic. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. The government has their reasons for not doing that. It is here now, so we have to deal with it, and we can't keep kicking the can down the road. We need to settle this once and for all. So I'm going to refrain from interjecting my personal views. I want to hear from my constituents. And I'm encouraging them to send me text messages if they want to meet and discuss. But what I'm going to do this weekend is send out my summary, and I will then send out a survey which provides people with a means of communicating with me and say, I want you to come to see me, or I want to come see you, vice versa. But everyone knows, I think, in Newlands, my phone number is 925-2582. My email is alva.saku@gmail.com. And I strongly encourage everybody to reach. If you have a view, if you want an opinion that you want me to know about, send it to me. Send me an email. I am going to dedicate the next several weeks to this issue, in addition to other things. But, this has to take priority because it's coming soon. And I don't want this to go down in history as a bad decision.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about the beach access situation, especially to those persons who criticize you for accepting the government's promise and withdrawing the private members' motion?
Well, if you let's talk it through. If Mr. Eden and I had said no, we're not going to withdraw a motion and we're going to put it to a vote, we would have probably lost the vote. And then there would have been, without that, because that creates an obligation. If we had won the vote, it would create an obligation on the government to go forward and do something about it.
And the government's promise now is a sort of an obligation as well.
Yeah, so
not sort of,
it
is.
Compromise. Yes. We withdraw and you commit to doing this.
Yes.
And what people have to understand is that, in politics sometimes it's not just about winning the vote. It's about getting things done. And, the minister gave her commitment, and she was very passionate in giving that. So I have to take her for her word. It's on video. It's on audio. It's recorded. I have the video on my computer already. So, it's just a matter of government going forward and doing what they have to do. And the Attorney General explained that, we're almost there. We're working on regulations. So ultimately, our job isn't to just show up the government. It is to actually get this thing done.
Yes.
And if we found a means of doing that with less confrontation, and which may ultimately mean that those wonderful ladies who are in court now may not have to spend their money fighting this battle anymore, and the government does what it's supposed to do, then that's a better outcome. So, sometimes in politics, people might not, on the outside, might not understand how all that fit together. But Mr. Eden actually came and discussed with me. He said, I'm going to withdraw. And I said, okay, yeah, I agree with you, because based on what the Attorney General said and the Minister said, I think we probably got a good outcome. And we can keep take them for their word now. I don't think anybody in that Parliament feels that we shouldn't be protecting our rights to access to the beach, especially. That's a Caymanian thing. That's a way of life. So I don't think there's any member in that House who feels otherwise. And I'd be surprised if there was. So I think that was a safe compromise.
And I would say, and I can't speak on behalf of the government, but certainly with an election due next year, you wouldn't want to hand anyone your head on a platter by reneging on
an agreement.
And then you can use that politically against them as well. Just before you go, Mr. Suku, one more of our listeners has written in and said, number one, why are companies that are delinquent on contributions still allowed to operate? 2, when the population was less, garbage was collected 3 times per week. Now the population has increased. Why is garbage only collected 1 time per week? There are still overloaded trucks moving at slow speeds, impeding traffic as well. And I'll just add to this, I saw in one of our newspapers where the government is in receipt again of additional trucks for DEH, as well. So it seems as if their fleet is being increased, and that should help to increase their capabilities as well.
But that was the reason given to us when we questioned why garbage collection went from, I think it was at one point they got to twice a week to down to once a week, and the answer was resources, trucks. So now that we got the trucks, I would hope that we go back to twice a week at least collection, because everything that's budget-wise that touches on that with DAH was calculated based on twice weekly in the past. Now it's gone down to once weekly. But hopefully that increases, because I do see the need for it. And I do see the need for those recycling bins and so on that we see around the supermarkets, for those to be collected more frequently, because they're overflowing every time I look at them. And it's, again, that adds to the road end problem, the littering and all that sort of stuff. So we do need it. We're a growing country. The population is increasing. We're producing more garbage. So waste management needs to be one of our top priorities.
Definitely. We still have some time for some closing comments from you, Mr. Suku, if you so wish.
Well, just generally, a lot of the callers and people who text in today, I want to thank those who gave me some praise. I appreciate it. I do work very hard in my constituency, no harder than anyone else, but I work hard.
And you knew it was going to be hard work when you took the job.
I knew it was going to be a tough job, but I'm grateful every day that I do have this opportunity, and I've made a commitment that I would never waste it. So that's how you see me operate the way I do. That I try to jump on things as soon as they happen, and I try to deal with things that are important to the people, because they put their trust in me, and I know what a blessing that is, and what that means in terms of how they respect me, and how I can they feel I will represent them. So I am committed to representing my constituents and what they want. And I know that there are a lot of issues creeping in, and we've heard about some of them today. The attitudes towards littering, and that's not just a foreigner thing. That is a change in our culture, a shift in our attitudes, and we need to get back to some of those older, the mindset of some of the older folks who, in the days when I was growing up, if you threw a piece of paper on the ground or a drink, empty container or something, it was something you would be shamed for. My parents would shame me and tell me how wrong I was to do that. And that stuck in me. I grew up with that. I try to do the same thing with my kids and explain to them that, it is wrong. You don't do that. I think we've lost some of that and the respect for our surroundings and the beauty that is here. So we really need to get back to some of that thinking and revive some of that. And I think a lot of these problems will go away.
Mr. Suku, I want to thank you very much for a great show this morning. Lots of calls, lots of issues covered as well. Clarity brought to many issues as well. So, folks, I also want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to lend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Any press briefing today, Miss Susan? No press briefing today? Not that we're aware of.
If I can cut in. Sorry,
sure. Go right ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a close friend who's watching from overseas.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say hello, and I recognize that you're there watching, so and I appreciate it. That's it.
Excellent. Folks, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Remember those who are more vulnerable to COVID-19 as well. Protect them, protect yourselves. And we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.